here's how my own comfort was really killing me. And this topic is something that is paradoxically uncomfortable to talk about. So, for a long time, I found comfort in not doing things. For example, I knew when I was in the corporate world that in order for me to be remunerated for my job, I needed to pick up the phone and cold call, basically. And I remember one of the earlier jobs that I had doing this. Now, bearing in mind, I was quite shy, new to a different, this is a foreign country, so I just moved countries. And my goal, I was tasked with basically calling through an old leads book, effectively, of people that had been on the database for 5 to 7 years at that point, right? So they'd been contacted multiple times. And I would put so much pressure on myself about cold calling and trying to build up rapport with these people that I would avoid it. And I remember like getting shakes. I remember having sweaty palms. I remember like sweating profusely everywhere, and probably looked quite the sight in an office because I was just like mentally just putting so much weight into this. Now, coupled with that, I was also in an open plan office, and there was a bunch of senior folks around me that had been doing it for years as well. So therefore, I was also nervous about the idea of looking like a fool and fucking up in front of all these senior people as well. And I remember thinking like, is this sales? Is this what you're meant to do? You just go and do this thing that is so unbelievably uncomfortable in order to find buyers and list properties and things like that. I didn't last at that job very long. I ended up getting something that actually paid me. This was a commission only thing, but it taught me a lot. Interestingly enough, I didn't hate it, even though it was terribly uncomfortable, but I did learn a lot. And I didn't even know what to say. Like I'm usually quite upbeat about things. I'm usually relatively friendly to people, things like that. And I didn't even know what to say. I got lost. I didn't even know how to communicate with these people. And I avoided it. I avoided making these calls. And the crazy thing is that I didn't understand probability, and I didn't understand the law of averages. And the probability was that if I was only making 3 to 5 calls over the space of an hour, because I was so nervous about each one that I was shaking, I wasn't applying the law of averages. And the law of averages basically states that if I was to keep going and I happen to call 100 people or 200 people, then I'm probably going to find, I don't know, 3 to 20, give or take. Let's say 20 is probably on the upper reaches, but let's say 3 to 5. Let's be a little bit more conservative. 3 to 5 people that I could have a genuine conversation with. And it might be that they were open to talking to me, they just might not have had the right time. So therefore, I've now got those, say, 5 leads. I might call, okay, do you mind if I follow up, say, tomorrow? Yeah, that's any time is fine. Okay, cool, let's follow up tomorrow. No, look, I'm busy tomorrow. Cool, is Friday a little bit better for you? Yeah, well, okay, let's follow up on Friday. Okay, no worries. Marking my calendar, right? And so that would have then opened a conversation. I would have then had 5 leads that I could produce a relationship with, or start to build a relationship with. But I avoided it because, like I said, I didn't understand the law of averages. I didn't understand probability, and I was just worried about this initial thing. Like, no, are they going to hate me? Are they going to hang up on me? Are they going to swear at me? Am I going to look like an idiot in front of all these really senior people around me that have been doing the same thing for a trillion years? And the reason why I wanted to tell you guys this little story is that I see it playing out so often. And you know what to do. You've got the instruction manuals are right in front of you, the training stuff that you've got right in front of you. And you've been through it, and you've been through it twice, and you take notes on the weekends, you stay up late to go through it again, and just make sure. And you read the posts and the content says, done is better than perfect, and imperfect action, and got to keep moving, and things like that. And you're like, yeah, totally. And then you go back to the thing that is more comfortable, which is the absorption of knowledge, because you don't believe that you have enough to actually get started at that point. And sometimes you have started, but you're just like mentally ticking things off a box. You're not actually doing it with an intentionality. You're not actually seeing what's happening in front of you and responding to that. Now, what I mean, and specific to this one, is my first sort of like 6 figures, call it, online came from effectively me doing something which, interestingly enough, is now become a little bit more popular with books like Alex Hormozy's $100 million leads coming out. He says he calls it 100s. So it's basically spend 100 days DMing 100 people, and you'll make a ton of cash. Which is honestly, it's as simple as that. If you're out there prospecting, go send 100 messages per day for 100 days. You will absolutely categorically make money on the other side of that. You cannot not achieve something pretty substantial on the other side of that, right? As long as you've got like a good offer and some sort of process to follow, like scripts and things like that, right? But absent that, it's just about hustle and getting in there and grinding, right? So it's probably, for me, it's probably more than 6 figures. It's a bit, it's probably way more than that. But at some point, you want to evolve your business, right? But anyway, here's what I didn't do when it came to the stuff. I didn't avoid it. I knew that the money was in the messenger. I knew that the money was in me doing the things that I felt were uncomfortable at the time. And I didn't avoid it. I launched straight into it not because I am like, unbelievably courageous and I'm naturally gifted at doing this stuff. The polar opposite. It was because I've actually been through that before and I sucked at it, and it was fucking atrociously horrible to go, oh, that's uncomfortable, so I'm just not going to do it. And to feel me withdrawing and not really taking the time and to sort of debate my own mindset around why I was avoiding that. Because then when I did figure that out, I was like, oh, cool, it's not going to hurt me. And yeah, I know hindsight is easy, and I know having done upwards of 20,000 repetitions of this type of stuff, you do get better. You like steel yourself, like you harden yourself towards some of your own negative thoughts about it as well, by the way. So I say this because if you are the type that you're going through the idea of your business and you're like mentally ticking things like, great, I've done my content for today and I've done my thing, and you're ticking things off and you're like, yay, I feel productive because I've done the stuff. But in your heart of hearts, I don't even need to like tell you will feel it, that you're actually avoiding doing the thing that you know is going to bring money in. Then you are doing not only yourself a disservice, right? Here's the kicker. Now this is a little interesting little frame for you to go away and think about. You're not only doing yourself a disservice because you're avoiding your own dreams and goals and actually pursuing them, because you're going to have to get uncomfortable if you want to do some good shit. If you want to hit the fucking 10K to 20K to 30K plus per month to 50K to 100K, you're going to have to grow as a human being. You're going to have to go and do some stuff which is really, really freaking uncomfortable to start with, right? And then if you avoid it, guess what? You're not going to grow. And if you don't grow, then you're not going to grow into the person you need to become in order to attract those things that you want, right? So you need to lean into that. You need to push into that. And you'll feel it. You'll feel when you're avoiding it, right? So take stock of the fact that it's there. Understand that it is there for most of us. Most of us that have achieved anything, the difference being is that we have seen the wall, we've seen like the discomfort, the thing that we're pushing up against, and we've just gone, take another hit. I'm just going to charge through it. I'll see what happens, right? And then understanding that the fear that we had about whatever we thought the worst case scenario is on the other side is an illusion our brains have made up to protect ourselves and our egos, right? Where our ego wraps itself in a little bubble to protect us from like getting hurt. But we're not chasing, we're not running away or being chased by saber-toothed tigers these days. Right? It's not a 2 million year old brain doing its thing. It's like, there's an illusion of fear. There's a false kind of like threat on the other side of that thing. So I pick up the phone, I cold call someone, they tell me to fuck off. Okay, is that the worst thing that's ever happened to me? I think stubbing my toe the other day on the corner of a couch is worse, right? It's physical pain, it hurts, and get over it. Is that the worst, right? Don't take it personally. There could be a trillion different reasons why they have. So the lesson in all this is, if you are avoiding doing the work, then understand that the best part of what you want lies on the other side of that. And sorry, to circle back to the other part of the goal that you're letting down. It's not just yourself, right? It's not just yourself that you're letting down. This is the frame that I wanted to express to you guys. The real person that you're letting down is those loved ones that love you and believe in you. And sometimes we get a bit clouded with our judgment here because we assume sometimes we pick up a few negative things from our friends and family, but we forget that the underlying truth of the matter is that they all love us and they all want to protect us, right? And so we're actually doing them a disservice by not pushing our own goals and our own comfort zones. And yeah, it's going to be real uncomfortable, but if you want good stuff out of this, got to go do it. Anyway, door is opening. That is my cue to exit. You guys have a good one.